Glad to welcome to the program Brian Watson. Brian Watson, the CEO and founder of Northstar Commercial Partners, and we've visited with Brian a number of times before. Up early, great to visit with you this morning, Brian. Thank you for taking time.
Chad, thanks for having me on your show.
I am looking forward to your take on the on this huge issue. Of course, President Obama last week acting unilaterally, executive orders, however you want to talk about it, really making huge sweeping changes for the immigration policies for the United States. And you're here to speak to us about that from the standpoint of a business owner, and so it's this huge issue. Do you have a thumbnail sketch that you're sort of prepared to give us? I've got a couple of questions, but if you've got it sort of a position that you've taken, I'd like to hear what it is.
You bet. Well, let me just first start off by saying that, business and our economy value and benefit from legal and proper immigration, as this is part of the lifeblood of new ideas, labor, and new opportunities for our country. So business and most Americans, I would say, value legal immigration as we are a nation of immigrants. However, business, jobs, and opportunity flourish when you have clarity, consistency, and the rule of law. And when President Obama decides to violate and disrespect the due process of the Constitution, it's inevitably going to hurt business, jobs, and opportunity, for all Americans.
I'm not the least bit surprised you did have the thumbnail sketch ready to go. It's difficult to unpack this. It's such a huge issue. In particular, I got a couple of questions that come to mind. And maybe this is a little too far to the future to ask, but will there be pressure on wages one way or another, and/or liability for employers? I would think easing of liability. If we have someone that previously was working under the table, we can have them as a legitimate employee. Is that one of the benefits? Are we reaching for benefits here?
Well, I think bringing people into the workforce that have been in the workforce for a long time will have, an impact. In some cases, it will increase costs because now, there's reporting and taxes and benefits and those type of things. We actually need additional labor in our country, but I really believe we need to first focus on, securing our borders, both our southern border and our northern border, and understanding who is actually in our country. There's estimates of 5 million. There's estimates that are higher, there's estimates that are lower. And, all of these people, are here, and we need to figure out how to address that. And, business being involved is a key part of that. However, the federal government cannot put the full responsibility of its ineptitude on the backs of business. The federal government was responsible for making sure that our borders were safe, that these people were documented in our country, et cetera. And sadly, they've dropped the ball. And now all of a sudden they're going to push it all to business and then penalize business if for some reason it's not following the newest law of the day. And I think there really needs to be that consistency and clarity for business to be able to operate and fully employ people.
Brian Watson is the CEO and founder of Northstar Commercial Partners, visiting with us about immigration, which is obviously huge and in the news because of President Obama's actions last week. You mentioned the rule of law. I'm a big fan of that. I think that there's essentially rewarding illegal behavior can't lead to good things. But here's a question for you: is there a little bit of hubris, perhaps, in President Obama's actions here? The system has been, as you just pointed out, broken, and it has not worked. The federal government has failed in so many ways. Is it hubris to believe that it can be fixed this easily with the stroke of a pen? Is there trouble waiting for President Obama that we're not predicting even here or even thinking about?
Well, and I don't think it addresses the issue with just a stroke of a pen. The irony of the situation is that we have a president who studied constitutional law in college, but instead of honoring the Constitution, he likes to ignore, disrespect, and violate it, whenever it does not meet his needs. And sometimes I wonder if he studied constitutional law to devise ways to get around the Constitution, and to weaken it. And really, the sad part of it is that, this is really a political football, I believe. Our federal government has been involved involved with, specifically the president, of dividing our people and causing division among Americans, whether it be on race, whether it be on their sex, whether it be on their economic status. And to me, this is just another political football that he's trying to move down the field to divide the country, especially after the recent elections. And I think in the end of the day, it's going to continue to backfire on him, as it already has, and seen by his unbelievably low approval ratings.
Really appreciate your giving us your standpoint on this. Brian Watson, Northstar Commercial Partners, News Talk 1310, KFKA. Yeah, previously he said he can't do this, and then just recently came around to saying, "Oh, I can do this. This is within the scope of my office and my powers." Which one is it, or was it? And it seems to change frequently. Let's go to a pragmatic solution, Brian. If you got an extra minute, as a business owner, how does a business protect themselves going forward? What is your best piece of advice for moving forward in this under this new umbrella, this new reality that we're living in?
Well, being a business owner is really tough. At the end of the day, you're responsible for meeting all these different laws, and there's no clarity, as I said, on a lot of these laws. And so, if you're hiring individuals that, may have, questionable status as relates to being citizens of the United States of America, I suggest you, really look into it, do your homework, and probably hire a good legal counsel at the end of the day to make sure you're complying with the laws. That's going to increase your cost as a business owner, but the cost of not being in compliance or violating some law of the land will be more problematic in the long run.
Excellent to hear from you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy morning. We'll respect that and let you go. Brian Watson, thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, you betcha. Northstar Commercial Partners CEO and founder Brian Watson. We've get to visit with him in the past and hope to visit with him again in the near future.